Hey there, Kai here. Woo! It's been a nutty couple of weeks. $2 trillion stimulus package rushed through the Senate, showing that our government does have the ability to cooperate and collaborate, and 80 million Americans, plus a few deceased ones, which is kind of weird, getting $1,200 stimulus checks. And as of right now, the IRS is sending out new rounds of up to 5 million checks each week to the remaining 91 million Americans who are still waiting on their first stimulus check. Wait, did I just say first? Yeah, I did. That's because the Senate is actually considering a second stimulus plan, and there are 3 different proposals that they are looking at. Now let's take a look at this second stimulus and the 3 current stimulus plans the Senate is considering. Then I'll give you some insight on what I think is really going to happen. Let's talk about it. Slap hands, bump fists, let's roll. So the first and perhaps the most popular stimulus proposal right now is the Emergency Money for People Act, or EMP, which will provide a $2,000 a month stimulus check for up to a whole year. The second is the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act, which will effectively cancel rent and mortgage payments for up to a year. And then lastly, third, Getting America Back to Work Act, which would provide payroll tax rebate that covers 80% of pay and helping allow businesses to easily rehire and retain employees. Now, let's take a look at each in more detail and see what best fits you. Now, the Emergency Money for the People Act, which I talk about in way more detail in my opinions here, was introduced by 2 Democratic representatives, Ro Khanna and Tim Ryan. Now, unlike the currently passed CARES Act, all citizens over the age of 16 would receive full payment if they make less than $130,000. Here are the official eligibility requirements. Americans aged 16 and older earning less than $130,000 per year. Families would receive up to an additional $500 per child, up to 3 children. And this also includes citizens who are unemployed or have no earnings. And then last, considering the fiasco with the direct deposit and paper checks of the CARES Act, this act will pay stimulus payments in the same method as before, as well as prepaid debit cards and mobile money platforms such as Venmo, PayPal, or Zelle. And the second stimulus proposal is the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act. Now, this was introduced by a Democratic representative named Ilhan Omar. Super sorry if I mispronounced her name. And it would cancel rent or mortgage payments for individuals in their primary residence for up to 1 year. Now, this bill includes full rent or mortgage payment forgiveness for your primary residence, no debt accumulation for renters or homeowners, and no negative marks on your credit history, which is a huge deal considering this fiasco that we're going through mortgage forbearance. However, no double dipping is allowed here. So if you're married, you both won't get this bailout. So how will landlords and mortgage lien holders get paid then? The bill will actually create 2 funds, a rental property relief fund and then a homeowners relief fund. These funds would pay landlords and mortgage holders for their losses. Now, a very interesting note in this bill is that it would also establish an optional fund to finance the purchase of private rental properties to increase affordable housing availability. Cheap government money may be ripe for those of us in the real estate space. Very interesting. And the third stimulus proposal is Getting America Back to Work Act, which was proposed by the Republican Senator Josh Hawley. This bill would create a refundable tax rebate that would cover up to 80% of an employer's payroll cost. It was also said to have a rehiring bonus for employees who were laid off and later were rehired by the same employer. Now, while this is not an all-encompassing stimulus paycheck for all citizens, it does allow employees to stay on the payroll, and it incentivizes employees to return to work when the health crisis passes. Now, the intent of this bill is to lighten the burden of the currently strained unemployment system, which currently is extremely overwhelmed in the majority of states. Now, based on everything that's going on, if the economy doesn't slowly start opening up, I think we will see another round of stimulus money. And the word on the street is the economy will slowly start opening up this May, which is basically in a week and a half. Here's the curveball though. If there's a resurgence of this virus at any time that causes us to slow or worse, close the economy again, we will very likely see another stimulus. And resurgences have been happening all over the world in a lot of the Asian countries that were doing so well that have reopened their economy. Now, it most likely will not be direct payments, but perhaps more of a blend of mortgage, rent forgiveness, along with small business and individual financial help. What my main concern is, though, is what does all this stimulus money really mean for us in the next 18 to 24 months? Sure, in the short term, it takes away a lot of the pain, but 2 years from now, we have a couple trillion extra dollars in the economy. What happens then? I feel like not enough people are paying enough attention to the fact that the US government just printed and brought in over 2 trillion, 2.2 trillion to be exact, into our economy basically overnight. Another stimulus package would most definitely get the Federal Reserve to fire up the digital money printers again. Trillions of new dollars created in such a short amount of time, mixed with record high unemployment rates and businesses going bankrupt, is like mixing TNT with gasoline and throwing poppets at it, hoping that it won't ignite. But we'll have to see. In the meantime, I know times are really dire. You may have lost your job, having a hard time keeping your business afloat, or even know someone who has been affected or impacted by the virus. These times are challenging and hard for the vast majority of people all around the world. I encourage you to use this time when you're indoor with your loved ones to bond. Take a step back from the hustle and bustle of work life and take a deep breath. Go outside, enjoy the sun, and most importantly, find something new to learn and build a skill set that can help you make money after or even during all of this. There will be so many opportunities available when this passes, and it will pass, that I want you to be able to make a better life for you and your family. But it takes a certain mindset and dedication and a level of discipline. I made enough money from stocks and real estate in the last Great Recession to quit my day job and now live my dream. Now I want to do the same for you. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date with the changes and where I'm putting my money and investments as the market continually changes. Love you all. Be sure to eat your fiber and get some vitamin D as the sun comes out. Kai out.